Hello, my lovely people. My name is Kate, and I'm a I'm, I'm a hypnotherapist. But today I want to talk about the really big issue that a lot of people are struggling with. A lot of people feel like they cannot resolve it. They don't know why it's happening to them. Is the feeling of panic or anxiety in the morning, usually between the time of 4 to 8 a.m., right? When they wake up with the heart race, when they heart was like sweaty palms or sweaty body, right? They are shaking. They can just be very overloaded with different thoughts, usually negative thoughts, lots of worry, right? So anxiety in the morning, it has the reason, for it. This is why it happens in the morning, and I'm gonna explain why it is. So the majority, of people with anxiety are experiencing symptoms, more severe symptom, or their symptoms worsen in the morning, usually, between 4 and 8 a.m. And then it gets better when they distract themselves with other different activities. It can be job, it can be raising kids, cleaning, or just, everyday routine. But in the morning, the routine is still not there. So you just wake up, and the reason you have anxiety is because your level of stress hormone is the highest in the morning, right? That's why you feel more symptoms in the morning. Also, because your happy hormones are down in the morning. It's just the way our body works. So this is why you are more worried, more anxious, more panicky in the morning, especially when you just wake up. When you wake up, your logic switches on, and it starts to remind you of everything that happened before, of everything that will happen in a day, right, or in the future. So if you have any unresolved conflicts, difficult situations, relationship problems, personal problems, career problems, right, everything is kind of crushing down on you. And with the high cortisol, it doesn't help, of course, right? So the symptoms can worsen and become more severe. It's interesting that most of the people, they do feel more anxiety on Monday, especially for people who work Monday to Friday on the like a regular jobs, right? 9 to 5 jobs, or if they plan a lot the previous days. If they plan a lot for the week ahead, when you wake up on Monday, you know that the week just started, so you can get really overwhelmed. If your week starts on Tuesday, you can get more anxiety on Tuesday. If your rotations are different, right, you will feel more anxiety on the first day of your work rotation, right? So what are the why you have this worry? Because all of a sudden everything comes onto you, all of these negative thoughts, the thoughts that you have been thinking, all the news that you watched, all the news that you have heard from your friends or family members, right? All the problems, right? It just comes in the morning because you kind of remember them all, right? And it's very natural that you're going to do that, right? It's not about what happened, it's about what meaning you put into those events, into those news, right? And for example, in the moment that I'm filming this video, there is a horrible war in Ukraine that is happening, right? And for example, every morning I wake up, right, I remember these events, and it does make my heart race higher because, I want to check the phone, I want to check if my parents are okay, right? If my family members are okay. So this is, and I can imagine for people who live there, it's not even compared to what I feel. It's much, much worse. So let's see the symptoms that you are having in the morning, right? So you're feeling on edge, right? You're feeling this like fight or flight, right, mode. You also feel tired in many cases you feel like you haven't slept at all if you have anxiety in the morning, right? Because anxiety takes about 25% of your daily energy. So even like an hour of anxiety in during the day will take a lot of your energy. If you are on edge of having a panic attack, then it can take up to like 75% of your energy, right? So you'll be very tired. That's why people after panic attack, they're very like unfocused, right? They need to sleep, and some people sleep for many hours just to recover, right? So you also have difficulty to breathe and to control this worry, right? Like you want to be in control, but you feel like you're out of control. And for people who have a fear of losing control, anxiety in the morning, it's a horrible feeling, because they feel like, oh, I cannot do anything about it, right? You still can do something to relieve the symptoms, and I'll put some tips and tricks what you can do to help. From about some of them you probably already know, but still good to mention them again, right? So sometimes and I'll explain the physiology and how it happens from your brain, in your brain. So when you are going to sleep, your mind goes into this state of mind, this trance-like state of mind, sleep, right? It's a deepest state of mind, and then you are switching off your logic, right? So your logic switched off. You are completely in your conscious and unconscious mind, and that's when people who have suppressed emotions, who suppress emotions for many years from trauma or abuse, or anything that happened in the past, right? Your subconscious mind can start talking to you, and you can have like insomnia, you can have headaches at night, you can have panic attacks at night, and you can have night terrors, or just very worrying, very negative dreams, right? That are kind of like metaphors to whatever is happening in your life, like I know that there are some dream therapists, right, that are actually interpreting the dreams, right? But usually the dreams is the language of your subconscious mind. It just talks to you in metaphors. So it gives you these fears. It can create this, very weird scenarios in your mind, but they actually represent everything that is happening in your life on the unconscious from the unconscious point of view. So a lot of people who have anxiety in the morning, they can feel like they have stomach problems, right? They can feel stomach pain, digestion problems, right? So why it happens? Your mind wants to keep you safe. So if you have any conflict, if you have any problems, unresolved problems from the past, right? Your mind is keeping you away from them. So it's like giving you this worry, panic, anxiety, all of these symptoms, sweating, overthinking, catastrophizing, sweaty palms, I said, right? Heart rate, right? Foggy brain, and headaches, right? It gives you these, like, don't do that. It's kind of keeps you away from doing the same thing that you are repressing. And you're not. Like, you're not, for example, if you're safe, but you haven't been safe, but you haven't felt safety in the past, right? Your mind will still replay that feeling of not being safe, right? If you haven't resolved the problem. So the roots and the causes of anxiety in the morning can be struggles to cope with the day ahead, right? So if something is happening in the day that is ahead of you that you don't want to do, like, usually sometimes when you have to do something at work that you don't want to do, if you have a job that you don't like, you can also have anxiety because your body is just rejecting the things that you don't like. And even if you need to do that, like, I have to do it, right? Your body still fights, right? Till the end. So over-planned day. So if you planned a lot in your day, it can cause you to have anxiety, right? If you feel like, will I be able to do enough? Will I be able to do all of the things, right? heightened sense of responsibility when you have all of these things planned and you feel like you're responsible for the world. You're responsible for your kids, for your family, for your friends. You have all of these thoughts that can trigger your anxiety in the morning, right? Abuse and unmet needs in the childhood can cause you have anxiety in the morning, especially if there is a trauma that happened in the morning, right? Abuse that happened at night can cause night terrors and night and panic attacks, or just some very unexplained triggers during the day. Or if something happened or was happening to you in the morning, it can trigger morning anxiety. So, for example, a child is 2 years old and a child doesn't want to go to the child care. So the child cries all the time, The child doesn't understand why she or he needs to go to the daycare. They just don't understand. For us, it's very understandable, but for them, no. They don't understand. They feel unloved and not important, and that the job for their mom is more important than the daycare. If you see them crying all the time, right? When they go to the daycare. So it happens in the morning. So every morning a child wakes up, they have this feeling that I have to go somewhere that I don't want to go. If it has been for a long time, if that trauma remained for a long time, you can notice that it will replay in your mind again and again in the future. Yeah, it's just checked my microphone. It can replay in your life because your mind doesn't know imaginary or real, so it doesn't understand past, future, or present. So it just understands like it's happening right now. So you're in the morning, and it's very frustrating because you don't know about that. And of course, I don't know as well, because everything is in your head. I don't know what happened that caused you to have anxiety in the morning, but I'm just giving you these examples that can happen. So separation from the parents that happened in the morning for many, many years can cause anxiety in the morning. Or at certain times, and you can get triggered very easily, very easily, just like the place that you have visited or a person that you have seen can trigger anxiety, right? And a lot of time we cannot control our thoughts. So our thoughts can also trigger us, right? Repressed emotions and feelings. When you're in the morning, you're still not that in control of your thoughts and your thinking patterns, right? That's can cause all of these memories, maybe flashbacks, triggers are coming into your mind. It can cause you this, cortisol is high, fight or flight mode is on, and by the time you distract yourself with a lot of different things, but by 8 or 9 o'clock, then it gets better, but it comes back, right? Those are the biggest roots, right, of the because in the morning during the day you have distractions, and you try to distract them. People are so good with distractions, starting from going to work, talking to someone, going for walks. Like, they distract themselves from the real problem, or they can make a decision. Sometimes they are making a lot of choices, making a lot of decisions that help them to go through this anxiety, right? So you have this heightened attention in the morning, right, towards your problems. What can you do in order to relieve, in order to resolve anxiety? You need to go deeper and deeper into the complex treatment of anxiety. You can see the therapist, you can do deeper work, I always recommend combining different methods and looking at what works for you, because for some people just the regular therapy works. For some people, eating habits, changing some diets, like no carbs, no sugar, can help with anxiety immensely, right? However, some people cannot keep that diet on because there is a root for that as well. So it's much easier when you resolve these unconscious patterns, these unconscious conflicts, when you resolve them, it's so much easier for you to step on a healthy diet, to, you know, to lead a better life, you know, make better choices, be more motivated, starting to do what you love, you know. So it all comes from, like, you know, unblocking that block, right? But these little tips can help you. So breathing, right? Breathing, holding your breath, and then breathing out helps a lot. There are so many videos on the YouTube how to do breathing exercises. Helps a lot. Journaling in the morning. So if you don't have anyone to share your problems, your worries, right, with, journaling them. I know that a lot of people don't like to do that. They say, I don't have time. We have time. We just don't prioritize time. No news and no phone before bed, at least 2 hours before bed. Otherwise, everything that you have read on the Instagram news, Facebook, TikTok, everything you saw will come back to you in the morning. Like, it's just like, especially if there is something that is, like, you know, sad news, some negative news, right? They can come back to you in the morning, and they can even worsen, right? Alcohol, coffee, please. They just trigger anxiety. They don't help with it. Some people tolerate coffee really well, right? But some people have a lot of coffee in the evening or in the morning, right? It just triggers it even more. Alcohol for sure triggers anxiety. It can help to soothe the pain, temporary, but in the long run, it doesn't help, right? So breathing, exercising in the evening and in the morning. Again, not being motivated to move your body to exercise is also a symptom, right? So it also has its root why you're not motivated, why you cannot do that, why you cannot find time for that. That also has its roots and causes, right? But if you do, and if you do it like during the day, try to move your exercise in the morning. Like when you wake up, go exercise. It releases a little bit of that tension, you know, and cortisol definitely comes down and goes down. You can go for a walk. Also really helps if you can, right? Also work on the separation from the parents, you know, and this is a huge process. You know, we are very, it's, don't get me wrong, don't think it's silly or weird, but it is true. It is, we are not separated from our parents. Most of us are still dependent on their point of view. We still seek validation from them. The trauma that we received in a childhood still bothers us, right? Sometimes we cannot forgive. Sometimes we feel anger, resentment towards our parents, right? So sometimes we feel like we're still dependent on them. So all of these practices, you need to separate yourself from your parents if you are an adult, right? So this is good. Working on your emotional maturity, meditating, inner work, hypnosis, right? Self-hypnosis, counseling, coaching, right? All of these things can help you to understand your anxiety, general anxiety, or just anxiety in the morning, your panic attacks, or your any like overthinking. So I hope this information was helpful for you, and I think you found some value in it. You know, if you have any questions, you can comment. I will try to respond to everyone. And be healthy mentally and physically. You need to thrive. You were born to thrive. So I wish you all the best. And if you need my help, my contact information is in the description. Bye.